this down to the least common denominator. Do all of you people understand that when you buy a house on time, you got a mortgage, that you're paying interest? Do you all understand that? All right, that's point one. Point two, can you all understand that under the Ten Commandments model, interest and usury is prohibited, period? Don't do that. Can you grasp that concept? All right. Do you understand that you're a criminal, that you're breaking a law? Is it surprising to you that there's a penalty for the violation of that law? Does that come as a shock to you? Do you people out there, honest to God, believe that there's a law that says you shall not be a usurer to your brother, or you shall not practice usury? And you can go out there and practice usury and interest, and there's no penalty? Have you been listening to Mr. Rogers for so long now that you're so disconnected from reality that you can't connect crime with punishment? Because that's where Americans seem to be. Unable to connect these dots, that these foreclosures that you're going through, that the economic collapse that you are witnessing every day, day in and day out, slowly but surely, as this Great Depression, this hyperinflation builds upon us over here. Americans are just totally unable to connect the dots. Hell, I don't think you Australians over there can connect the dots either. And you got a publication over there, remember, the Privateer? Subscribe to that Privateer. Just go to the Privateer. It's the hyphen. Put a hyphen between the and Privateer. the-privateer.com. Go to that website. I mean, that guy's going to tell you where the bodies are buried. And I'm telling you right now, if you've got a mortgage on your house, you're going to lose your house. You got that? All right. So now, with that behind us, you're not going to lose anything. If you quit making your mortgage payments, then you go rent a house someplace. I don't think you're going to lose anything. Now, right away, you know, you're going to sit here and say, well, I don't know how I'd live if I didn't have my mortgage, if I didn't have my credit cards, if I didn't have my job. And I hear you. I hear you. I understand that. A practicing communist does not know how to live any other way than by practicing communism. And that's because it's the only thing you know. But I wanted to point out to you that you're not living better practicing communism today than you were 50 or 60 years ago. You're living worse today. And the future is going to get worse and worse because, you see, you can't make $40 an hour and then $80 an hour. Take a look at gasoline. Back in 1945, the price of gasoline was under 30 cents a gallon. I think it was around 27 cents. I know in 1937 it was 17 cents. And I think that by because of wartime and rationing and so on, I think it was 27 cents a gallon. So today the price of gasoline is $3 a gallon. Now it's actually $4, but I'm going to start at $3 here because last year it was $3. So it went from about 30 cents to $3. That's about 10 times. All right. And your wages went up from $1.75 to $17.58. So they went up by about 10 times. So when you were paying $3 a gallon for gas, making $17 an hour versus making $1.75 an hour, that was about equal. You hadn't lost any ground there. But here's where you lost your ground. And you people now, remember I said you're unable to connect these dots. Listen to this. If the income tax in 1945 was 10%, and I'll just use 10%, you were paying 17.5 cents for tax. Weren't you? Yeah, 175. But today, you're paying 17.58, then you're paying 10% of that, so you're paying $1.75. You're paying $1.75 in tax, and that's because you got what's called, the heavy progressive income tax. But it's worse than that. If you were paying $1.75 in tax compared to 17.5 cents in 1945, that'd be equal. If you were paying 30 cents back in 1945 for gasoline and $3 today, that would be equal. Okay, but here's where we all take it in the shorts. It's the second plank to the Communist Manifesto, which calls for a heavy progressive income tax. So they don't tax you 10%. they now tax you 25%. In fact, the tax goes up to 42%. And then if you vote for Barack Obama, the Democrats get into office, they promise to raise your taxes even higher. Bush raised your taxes. See, you thought Bush gave you a tax reduction? No. You misunderstand the alternative minimum tax. He cut taxes for the wealthy. They got a tax cut. All the rest of us over here got a tax increase through the alternative minimum tax. See, the cover story was tax reduction. I just want to tell you, politicians lie to you all the time. All right, now, if you were paying 10% of the $17.58, that'd be fine, but it's not. You're paying 25%. So now you've got fewer dollars to go out and buy this ice cream with. First of all, your pay did not keep up with inflation, and secondly, the income tax comes along and whacks you by taking 25% instead of 10%. Now, it's true, you're making 10 times more money, but your purchasing power over here is one half what it was in 1945. One half. That's why your wives are all out here working in the marketplace, and both of you working your hearts out over here are barely able to make your payments. You know, it's time for us to start connecting these dots over here. The income tax is not our friend, it's our enemy. Social Security is not our friend, it's our enemy. Insurance is not our friend, it's our enemy. The highway patrolman is not our friend, he's our enemy. I'm just telling you, that's the way life is. So you're making friends with all your enemies over here, and they're eating your lunch, and you can't figure out why. Well, it's because you went to public school, and they taught you about all your friends in government and how you ought to vote. I told you that the other day. I said, hell, if voting was the solution to your problem, you wouldn't have any problem to start with, because you've all been out here voting all these years. If interest and usury was the solution to your problem, if refinancing your house was the solution to your problem, you wouldn't have any problem to start with. Interest and usury is your problem. That's why you're poor and losing your house. It's the penalty that you pay for the violation of the law that says thou shalt not steal. And your preacher didn't tell you that. He told you you were living under grace. But you got a license to go out here and commit these abominations. Well, okay. Go out and do it. But if you do, there's going to be a penalty to pay. So when you're paying usury and interest, you're in violation of thou shalt not steal, and the penalty is poverty. That's all. Let's try another one. I was in the store the other day, and there's this old man, see, and I was putting some stuff in the shopping basket down at Tim and Jim's, see, and this old man, he's shuffling along. I mean, hell, I don't know if he's older than I am. Just looking at the guy, I'm guessing, you know, he's 70 years old. That's what I am. I'm 70. And this guy has got, I mean, he just looks terrible. I mean, he can hardly walk. And he's just barely able to get by. And I put a bunch of stuff in there, and he said, oh, I see that's really smart buying on your part. So there's a bunch of artichoke hearts there, and so I like marinated artichoke hearts. And so there's about 15 or 20 jars of it there, you know, and this is one of them salvage stores. And so I took these 17 jars and said, last week they had pickled pig's feet in here, and I bought them all. This guy can hardly walk, and he's eating pickled pig's feet. Now, see, he doesn't understand that pork is bad for his health. So he probably went to public school and heard about all the riboflavin in pig meat. See, and so he thought, boy, well, he's probably not short of any riboflavin, but boy, he's short of a lot of other something or others over there, because this guy can hardly function. And I don't have disabled on my car. Hell, I got to park out in the middle of the parking lot and walk into the store like everybody else. And I was in the Harps the other day, and there's this old guy in there. Old guy. He's working as a bagger. See, it used to be that the people that were bagging your groceries and taking them out to your car, they used to be teenagers. Not no more, not Harps. Hell, they're all old people. And over at Walmart, you know, that's all those old retired people that can't live on Social Security. And so they're now greeting you at the door and bagging your groceries and taking them out. And this old guy, I don't know how old he was, but he looked like an old man to me. And And he's good health. I mean, he's bagging stuff up. He says, "Do you need a handout with that?" And I said, "Son, I don't need a handout with that." I said, "I might be old, but I ain't crippled." Yeah, I'm an old man, but I ain't crippled. I want to take my own groceries up. I don't need some old man to do that. All right, now that's why I keep saying to you people, it's time to wake up here and start smelling the coffee. We got problems over here. We can't recognize what the hell the problems are. And that's because you go to church every Sunday. And nobody ever told you about this other business model. The other business model is the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments is a business model where we don't stand in line and we all have a great abundance. If you want to have more milk than you know what to do with and more meat than you know what to do with, and you don't give a damn if the price of gas is $7 a gallon. I mean, I hate to see the price of gas go to $7 a gallon because, I would like to buy gas for 30 cents a gallon too. But that ain't going to happen. And then the price of gas is going to $7. I just got those numbers the other day. Last time I reported to you, it was going to $6 a gallon. Got new numbers out here. They're expecting $200 a barrel oil here by the end of the year. $200 a barrel. Well, when oil was $100 a barrel, it was $3 a gallon. Now it's $150, and so now it's $4.50, and so now when it gets up to $200, and that's $6 gas, ain't it? All right. Now, my income then has to keep up with. Now, I'm going to avoid that word income. My increase has to be greater than the price rise in the gallon of gas. So I'm not going to make that as a greeter. I'm not going to make that on Social Security. And so, hell, I don't even draw Social Security. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, I'm entitled to $800 or $900 or $1,000 a month in the Social Security. Hell, if I went down and signed up, I'm sure they'd send me a check. I wouldn't get out of bed for that kind of crap. I wouldn't do it. And I tell my students very plainly when you walk into this school that if you're making less than $100,000 a year, you're wasting your time. I don't give a damn if you're driving truck for Walmart today. Son, if you're making less than $100,000 a year driving that truck, you're wasting your time. Now, if you want to drive truck, that's fine. Hell, I drove truck for years. I had a great time. I was never sorry being a plumber, carpenter, electrician, working the trades. I was never sorry that I was a truck driver, working for wages. I worked for International Harvester. I was a union member for years. God, I had a great time. Great time. No money in it. No money. And then one day I woke up and I said, what the hell is all this all about anyway? And I said, I've been to public school. I've learned to be a cash cow for the bureaucracy. I'm working for the politicians. They sit in Washington, D.C., drawing big, fat, cushy paychecks, and they don't do any work. They do absolutely nothing. Stand around, talk a lot, pinch the girls on the ass at the water cooler. But they're not doing anything productive or competent. Nothing for me. I don't know about you. Man, hell, I can't speak for you, but didn't do anything for me. Now, I'm going to give you a reminder here, and I'm going to take you through a house. I want to take you through this house over here, because most of you people now are losing your heinies on your houses. And you're losing your heinies on your house because that house you bought was a criminal activity. I'm going to show you what the crime is. I'm going to show you what the law says. And I'm going to show you how to stop doing it. Now, you need a house. I don't deny it, but you need a house that's free and clear. I'll show you how to build a house in 36 months, free and clear and own it. 36 months. Write that down, Bob. Write it down. 36 months. I'll show you how to build a house in 36 months, all cash, yourself, and own it free and clear. You people are buying these houses, and you're paying for 30 years. You're buying one house for yourself and two for the bankers, and you ain't even going to last 30 years. You're all going broke. All going broke. So hang on here while I give you my mid-course reminder here so we can take care of the FCC and all these government bureaucrats. And remind you that you're listening to the Law Hour, an editorial review sponsored by the Gordon Law School of Isabella, Missouri. Now, the Law Hour is heard 7 days a week here in the United States, and we're heard in 112 countries daily over the Internet and radio worldwide. Now, if you want more information about the Law School and the Law Hour, please go to our website. That's georgegordon.org. Again, that's georgegordon.org. Now, the law school teaches family law, tax law, courtroom strategy and procedure, business law, agricultural law.